Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Debbie Currie, Board Chair of the Community Foundation, and I have the honor of welcoming you to the Kitchener Waterloo Community Foundation's 2018 Town Hall meeting. Before I begin with a few opening remarks, I'd like to point out our Twitter handle and hashtag for the event, at the KWCF, and hashtag Do More Good. As well, you will see Twitter handles and hashtags of our guest speakers on the surrounding walls when they come up to the stage to present. We encourage you to share your ideas, your thoughts, quotes on social media throughout the event. It's been just about 8 months since we last gathered together for our 2017 Town Hall meeting, and I'm happy to report that the board and staff have been very busy between then and now. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce you to my fellow board members. These are some of the most caring and thoughtful change makers that I've ever had the privilege of working with. I'm incredibly proud to volunteer beside these people, and I'm very thankful for their strong commitment to the Foundation's fiduciary and strategic responsibilities, and to ensure that we as an organization can do more good for our community and help you as charitable agents, community partners, and philanthropists do more good in our community. Board members, please wave your hands when I call your name. David Brenneman is our past chair. Brock Hart is our vice chair. Lori Payne, Eric Strasburger, Mike Murray, Zhao Pu Feng is wearing her beautiful pink t-shirt. There she is in the back. Dan Herman, I'm not sure that Dan could make it today. Dana Lieberman-Feinstone, there's Dana. John Malloy, there's trouble. And Murray Gamble, I'm not sure that Murray could make it. If you were here last year at the 2017 Town Hall, you will recall that we asked the question, in regard to our community, what keeps you up at night? We received a variety of thoughtful responses, which gave us much to consider for our planning sessions and priority setting. Actually, it gave us a ton to consider as we sat down to do our strategic work for 2018, and we thank you for your openness and your honesty. Ultimately, that work resulted in the board agreeing that if we can make it easy to do more good in our community, forever, in perpetuity, and together, collaboratively with all of you, our stakeholders, the Foundation will be in a strong position to have a positive impact on the issues and challenges that you have told us are concerning and worrisome. Now, Elizabeth will expand upon this direction in her remarks, and we'll talk about our collaboration in the Wellbeing Waterloo Region initiative, but we want you to know that as board members, we continue to have our ears to the ground, and we are always open to hearing from you. One of the other priorities that has been keeping our board very busy over the past few months is the development of an impact investment framework and policy to drive a different way to invest our funds outside of our traditional investment portfolio. For those who aren't familiar, impact investments are loans made to organizations and enterprises who are doing social and environmental good. Unlike grants, the loans are repayable to the Foundation, and they earn returns that we can channel back into the community in various ways. I'm often asked why we are doing this and not leaving loans up to our financial institutions. The fact is that in Canada, few traditional lenders feel comfortable evaluating the ability of not-for-profits, charities, and social enterprises to accept loans. Some lenders are willing to make loans to larger charities. However, even larger organizations have experienced difficulty in accessing the financing that they need. And while it's very important to leave the vast majority of our funds in the traditional portfolio that our brilliant investment committee expertly manages, which annually nets strong returns, touch wood, that enables us to grant each year, we are now looking for opportunities to invest in social good organizations and initiatives that have the capacity to also provide returns, albeit not necessarily at those same rates. I'd be happy to chat with anyone who's interested in hearing more about the board's role in social finance, and I know that Elizabeth is going to share some updates from an operational standpoint, as well as some other updates. And so this is the perfect time for me to turn it over to our CEO, Elizabeth Heald. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Your leadership as board chair has been integral to the positive progress that we've made over the past year, so thank you for that. I sincerely thank you and the rest of the board for all the support you've given me over the last 9 months. So good afternoon. It's my pleasure to welcome such a diverse and representative cross-section of guests to our town hall. I look around the room and I see donors and fund holders, members of the board, committee volunteers, leaders and team members representing community organizations and corporate partners and other community members. Together, we are making a difference in our community. You are all such an important part of the success story that is Waterloo Region, as well as the Kitchener Waterloo Community Foundation. Your dedication, passion, and drive to give back to this region is truly inspiring, and I thank you for your service to our community, however you have chosen to participate. Today, I have about 15 minutes to share an update on what's happening at the KWCF. So I'm going to focus on 3 key areas to give you a more in-depth picture of our progress. First, I will briefly highlight our 2017 performance and discuss our 2018 strategic plan. Second, you will hear about processes and initiatives we are undertaking to deliver on our vision to make it easy for people to do more good. And third, I will finish by updating you on Wellbeing Waterloo Region and the UN Sustainable Development Goals, because they are both critical inputs to our strategy. So let's get started. As of December 31st, 2017, the KWCF has over $100 million in assets under management. We have granted over $45 million to the community since inception, including $3.3 million to 210 charitable organizations in 2017 alone, of which $755,000 was through our community grants projects. We're able to grant to the numerous vital charitable organizations in our community because of the impressive efforts that Debbie spoke about earlier of our volunteer investment committee led by Eric Strasburger. They work with a team of fund managers to make decisions on how best to invest the KWCF's assets in order to fully maximize the returns, which are then used to grant to the community. Last year, the foundation was able to generate a return on investment of 9.2%. And as you probably know, I come from Scotiabank, so that's a pretty good return. Without the immense generosity and support of our donors and fund holders, none of this work would be possible. The KWCF is simply the shepherd of this good work. You'll be able to learn all about the KWCF's 2017 year by reading our recently released annual report. If you aren't on our mailing list, we have copies at the registration table at the back for you to take home with you. We also encourage you to sign up for the mailing list or e-newsletter so that we can continue to stay connected. As Debbie mentioned, in 2017, the board developed a new strategic plan for the KWCF that our staff has now worked to implement. We are no longer involved in leading programs like Engage or Random Act of Kindness Day. Instead, we are going back to our roots and focusing on making it easy for fund holders to give and invest money, and for charities to receive money to continue the great work they are doing across Waterloo Region. We are focused on achieving 2 very important goals by 2020. One is to double the number of active endowment fund holders. We believe this is possible by engaging people in our community in new and exciting ways. And if that happens, we'll need to find a bigger venue. Already, more individuals and companies are discussing the establishment of funds or directing money to the Community Foundation via the Community Fund to support vibrant programs and projects that are making a difference across Waterloo Region. 2, to develop relationships with 50 new fund holders under the age of 50. We just like the 50 under 50, maybe it's really 50 under 35, but we believe that engaging with new generations of donors will provide long-term regional benefits while showing them what many of you are already well aware of, the inherent personal benefits that accompany philanthropy and giving back to your community. In March, we launched a refreshed brand. Our hope was that it signaled a brand new day at the KWCF. Our new logo is a vibrant expression of the inclusivity and connectedness that our organization represents. It was designed by the amazing team at Currie Integrated Communications to represent a fingerprint that is as individual as you are, with the hope that everyone could see their personal connection to the KWCF through the path they take in our region. Our updated mission is to create caring communities where everyone thrives. As Debbie mentioned, last year we asked, what keeps you up at night? This year we are asking, what can the KWCF do to make it easy for people to do more good? And what can you do as a member of our community do to make it easier for people to do more good? So if you haven't had an opportunity, please visit the boards on either side at the conclusion. Or now if you want, it's fine. Just kidding. Your responses to these questions will help inform the work we do between now and 2020. So let's move on to topic 2. And I will share 5 quick examples of the processes and initiatives we are undertaking to deliver on our vision to make it easy for people to do more good. Example 1, the KWCF team is staying connected to the community. Staff members have been taking part in charitable organization site tours or learning journeys. Quite honestly, every location I visit offers me a unique perspective on the needs of this community and how we are collaborating to solve them. We are now engaging board and committee members increasingly in these visits, and the connectivity is providing shared understanding of opportunities. Example 2, many of your interactions with the KWCF are through the granting process, whether that represents the community groups that receive our grants or the fund holders and donors that provide the grants and direction that sustains our community granting. For 2018, we have made some significant changes to the granting process. This includes creating a more streamlined application to make it easier for charities to apply for funding, developing a series of grant videos to assist those who are filling out the applications, expanding our community granting to have both spring and fall intakes, and letting those who apply in the spring but don't receive funding to be automatically considered for the fall. And finally, expanding our granting committees to have more people from diverse backgrounds across the community involved in reviewing grant applications and having input on the process. And many of them are here today. Our goal is to be more strategic with the grant streams that we control and continue to build and foster the dynamic partnerships that will collaboratively solve the issues that exist in the region. Example 3, when developing our new strategic tactical plan, a significant focus has been placed on developing and engaging both existing and potential fund holders. As part of this process, I have been and will continue to meet with our current fund holders, many of whom are here this evening, to discuss and seek feedback on these changes. I'm also using these meetings to get a better understanding of our fund holders, what their goals are for their fund, and chart a path for fund advisor succession. I have thoroughly enjoyed these meetings so far. Getting to meet people and understand their story and their motivations for wanting to do more good was a large part of what attracted me to this job. I must say I've learned a lot from some very inspiring people. I even had the chance to learn about earthworms from the foremost, and I actually think the only earthworm expert in Canada, who happens to have a fund with us. Who knew there were thousands of species of earthworms? They all look the same to me, so. Example 4. Today, the City of Kitchener announced that KWCF and your Neighbourhood Credit Union are providing partnerships to the city's Neighbourhood Matching Grant Program, a program that funds resident-led, city-supported projects that renew public places and bring neighbourhoods together. Response to the program since it was launched has been so overwhelming that we are assisting by providing a grant to allow more neighborhood groups to lead and receive funding for initiatives that matter to them. The last example, part of our role in the community is providing information and convening conversations. I wanted to make everyone aware of a special event that the KWCF will be hosting this fall. As Debbie discussed, we have begun a path that has placed a focus on social finance and impact investing. An element of that strategy includes the birth of social impact bonds, an emerging financial model that has the potential to address some of society's most complex problems. Mark your calendars for the evening of October 11th. We'll be hosting a special screening of the film, The Invisible Heart, at the Princess Cinema in Waterloo. This documentary, which is set in Canada, in US, and in the UK, seeks to uncover if social impact bonds are in fact delivering as advertised while following a group of people that are working together to tackle social inequality. I wanted to take a couple of minutes right now to show you a brief preview of the movie. So this promises to be a very powerful and intriguing look into the issue, and I'm personally really looking forward to the screening in October. We will also have a panel discussion after at the conclusion of the screening about social impact bonds with experts on the topic. More information about this screening will be available in the coming months via our website, social media platforms, and the KWCF e-newsletter. As mentioned, today I will finish by updating you on Wellbeing Waterloo Region and the UN Sustainable Development Goals, because they are critical inputs to our strategy. At last year's Town Hall, we announced, rather than continuing to fund vital signs research in our community, we would provide support and funding to the Wellbeing Waterloo Region initiative. Working collaboratively with the Region of Waterloo, the local LIN, and the United Way, amongst other community organizations, KWCF has taken on a significant role in this process since its inception in 2016 and will continue to play a key role moving forward. Wellbeing Waterloo Region is a community-led initiative working together across sectors to improve the well-being of residents. Community well-being is shaped by a wide variety of conditions and systems in which individuals and communities grow, work, live, and play. Wellbeing Waterloo Region has identified 3 areas of focus during this process. Affordable housing, so everyone has a place to call home. Healthy children and youth, ensuring all children and youth have the foundation they need to thrive and reach their potential. And social inclusion, where everyone is welcome and can belong. And speaking of social inclusion, our guest speaker today is someone who himself was socially excluded and assumed that he would never fit in, and you'll find out how he did. Our work will collaboratively focus on exploring ways to find solutions to these vital issues in our region in a manner that is both ambitious and realistic. Wellbeing Waterloo Region has recently launched a community-wide well-being survey that will help to inform future priorities and direct where change is needed most in our community. I want to strongly encourage everyone here, if you have not had the opportunity, to please participate in the survey and have your voice heard. And if you have or plan to take the survey, if you would please lend further assistance by promoting it to your friends, family, and colleagues, that would be greatly appreciated. The more responses we receive, obviously the better the information we are able to gather and the greater impact we will be able to make. As many of you have likely witnessed, Wellbeing Waterloo Region has a presence here this evening at the back with the fantastic Laurie Fiozzi. Give a wave there, Laurie. Okay. Stationed at the booth and providing further details and information. So if you didn't get a chance to go over and have a chat with Laurie beforehand, please do so later. We are expecting Wellbeing Waterloo Region to play a central role in the future development of regional programs from the perspective of both local government and community organizations. One of the other key developments that's driving the KWCF's work are the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs as they're called. In February, I had the privilege with Brock of traveling to Mexico City to take part in the first ever North American Community Foundation Summit, with about 1/3 of the participants from Canada, 1/3 from the US, and 1/3 from Mexico. The purpose was to discuss the SDGs and, in particular, how we, as North American community foundations, could come together to tackle the goals collaboratively, which is the central principle of SDG number 17, Partnerships for the Goals. There has also recently been 2 sessions in Waterloo Region that have dealt specifically with the SDGs. In late April, the Waterloo Global Science Initiative hosted the Generation SDG Summit, an event focused on a community-led approach to implementation of the UN Sustainable Development Goals in Canada, which brought together a multidisciplinary, multi-sectoral, and multi-generational group of people working on the SDGs in Canada. And just last week, the University of Waterloo hosted the launch of the Sustainable Development Solutions Network of Canada that will be held right here in Waterloo. The network's goal is to mobilize resources and partners around the 17 SDG goals in order to tackle the toughest challenges on the planet. While our work is focused on the 3 priorities outlined earlier through our work with Wellbeing Waterloo Region, we are keenly keeping the national and global SDG goals in our sights. As you see, it's a very exciting time for the KWCF. We are adapting to changing landscapes in the not-for-profit sector as well as society in general. This means we need to be strategic, innovative, and agile. On behalf of the staff, I want to thank all of you for your ideas, input, and support. I can't wait to work with you over the balance of the year and as we work towards our goals for 2020. Speaking of our staff team, I want to share my heartfelt thanks to each of you on our team for their efforts over the last 9 months. They have patiently shared the history of the KWCF with me and have enthusiastically embraced our renewed mission and vision. I can genuinely tell you that it is an extreme pleasure to come into work each day, even when it's nice out like this. You can identify our team as they're sporting t-shirts in our new colors, so please join me in thanking them with a round of applause.